right, so welcome everyone to this week's edition of Get Seen Be Heard. I'm Christina Daves of PR for Anyone with Karen Yankovich, my co-host.
Hi.
And we're super excited this week. I am. One of my colleagues, and we've gotten to be friends, Andreea Ayers, is with us, and she is rock star in products, getting products in magazines, really. And she'll talk about a lot of what she does and tools that she has, and she's just she's a big following. She's very well known, does a lot of stuff with jewelry people. But anyway, I'm gonna let Andreea talk about all her stuff. So we always like to start out quickly at the beginning, just kind of updates in our industry. So Karen, what's going on social media?
I'm just thanking some people for tweeting here. Bryn, Charlie, thanks for tweeting. Yeah, it's kind of been a little bit of a slow week in social media. I actually had to pour through like the news this morning to see if there was anything that I missed. There's some little things going on, but for me, the biggest questions I'm still getting are about LinkedIn and the changes to LinkedIn, and mostly the groups. People are asking about groups, and I thought what I really wanted to mention to you guys today, and I thought this was really interesting, and Bryn is here, and she's also a LinkedIn expert. I've actually had an increase of requests to people join my group in the last 2 weeks, which I find crazy because I thought it was going to go down a lot. But I tweet and say, join my group on LinkedIn. I put it at the end of my blog posts, give people the link. So for some reason, I'm seeing an increase. So I'm actually, so far, I'm kind of enjoying the fact that groups are locked down a little bit more. My group's become more active. I actually just left a meeting this morning with a local organization. I'm going to take over their group and help them make that group more active. So I kind of just wanted to mention that, people were a little worried about what was going to happen with that. And so far, I think so good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So for me, I'll share, I always say I walk the walk and talk the talk. I'm such a huge proponent of building relationships with people in the media. And, it's not so much who you know, but who do they know? So I'll just tell you what I did this week, and it worked out amazingly for me. And you just never know who you might know or who you can connect with. And there's a way to connect with somebody. So I went to Virginia Tech, and our magazine came out this week. So I'm flipping through it, and there's a guy from CNBC who's featured in it. I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. Like, I know who that guy is. Well, because of the PR stuff, I know the NBC email string. So I sent him an email. Just said, hey, Hokie, hi, we graduated in the same major. I do a lot with the university. I serve on a board there. So I, told him we're really trying to highlight, visible people that are out there for the university, blah, blah. So what does he say? Let me know next time you're in New York, let's get together. So just
Nice.
like that now, in PR, I have a fabulous contact at CNBC.
That's fabulous.
But I found a connection, and we bonded. So you just always look for how you might connect. And I know an alum who's like Rock Street woman on Wall Street, and I said, hey, do you by chance know blah, blah? She'll be a great resource for you. So that was the first thing, is I provided value to him before I go back to him and say, hey, I got some great ideas for shows.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And don't forget your New York friends when you're there,
Just in case
you need a third person in those meetings. I'm happy to join you. I actually have some CNBC connections myself, so maybe we can leverage them.
Yeah, but that's important. You should be leveraging your.
I know I should. And to your point though, you mentioned also that you offer to connect other people. Like, that's really how you get. To me, I know it sounds so corny, but I get more business when I offer to help people do things than when I try and sell myself. It just is the way it works. People are so tired of people just jamming things down their throat that when you just develop relationships and start conversations, to me, that's how the best business happens.
I agree completely. So, all right. So that's
all kinds of people I love in this group today. I'm so excited. So Tim's here. Jackie Johnstone, are you the Jackie that I know that just had a baby? Is that you? I know that's a kind of a common name. So if that's you, welcome. Victoria Taylor, welcome. You guys changed my world. Can't fit it all the work by doing just that. Absolutely, Tim. Absolutely. I agree.
So awesome. All right. Let's bring Andreea in because I'm so excited. Hopefully she comes in.
Oh, hey guys, can you see me?
Oh.
Hey, something happened to my camera.
No, it looks like you pulled the shade down or something. in front of
we
you.
can't see you.
Yep, no, I have my camera, but I guess it's not, I thought I set it up.
I saw you initially, and then you did something, and it went away.
Yeah, we saw you, and then something moved.
Yes, I had. Can you guys see me now?
Yeah, there we go.
Yay, hi.
Hi, welcome.
Hi, so nice to be here. Thanks so much for having me on today.
I'm so excited. So, Andreea, obviously I know all about you, but why don't you tell everybody about Launch, Grow, Joy, tell everybody about Get Media Happy, which is a fabulous resource, and, you know, tell everyone why I wanted you here, and then we can get into some fun stuff.
Yeah, sure. So I started a t-shirt business back in 2007. It seems like it was so long ago, and I ended up doing my own PR for that and having a ton of success with it. And other t-shirt entrepreneurs started emailing me and saying, hey, how'd you do it? Can I pay you? Can you teach me how you did it? And at first I was just offering advice for free. I would just say, sure, here's what you do. And then as more of these requests started coming in and people saying, you know, I want to work with you. Can I work with you? I could consider that. So I said, sure, let's work together. Here's my fee. I had no idea what I was doing in terms of what I was charging, but I ended up working with a lot of entrepreneurs and I really loved doing it. So I ended up selling my t-shirt business and launching Launch, Grow, Joy to help other entrepreneurs to launch their business, to get PR, to grow their online sales. And then most recently, within the last 2 years, I started doing PR for other entrepreneurs. And that sort of happened in the same way because they came to me and they said, hey, do you ever take one-on-one clients? Can you work with me? Can you help me? And at first I was like, no, I don't do one-on-one coaching. It's, you know, I teach online classes. But then I was like, you know, I really love PR. Let me just try it out and see what happens when I do work with clients. So I ended up taking on 8 clients. And what I realized is that I was pitching 4 of my clients were jewelry designers. So I was pitching them to the same editors over and over again. And then I thought, you know, is there a way that I can sort of step out of the equation? I can connect the editors with the brands and they could do the pitching and I'm just doing those intros and those connections. So that's when I got the idea for Get Media Happy, and it's been going on for about 1.5 years, and we've had some great success stories with entrepreneurs being placed in Oprah magazine and Yoga Journal, and I mean a ton of other magazines. Every week I get an email from someone saying, hey, I just got into this magazine, here's my pitch. So it's just been really awesome to be able to help entrepreneurs to do their PR.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. And I will
awesome.
say,
we really need help. I really need help. I mean, Christina doesn't, but I do. And a lot of us do.
And it's funny, Andreea, right? Because in a big picture, if people looked at us, they would say we're competitors. But you and I have talked about it. We don't, you know, there's millions of people who need help. You might like me, you might like Andreea, you might like the way she does. It doesn't matter. We're all out there trying to help small business owners have success with this.
I totally agree. Yeah. And I'm a huge believer that there's room for everyone.
Yes.
And people come to you because they maybe love your style, or, you know, they've been following you for years and they just love what you do and they want to work with you. And it's the same reason why everyone has clients and everyone goes to a different person, because it's just you click with certain people and not with others. And there really is room for everyone.
I agree.
And we've helped each other out. Andreea had me on a telesummit. I know I've called her, you know, hey, I'm working with a client. Do you know somebody here? You know, can you just help with that? So it's, and I love what we do because, and Karen, we talked about this forever. Small business owners can't afford publicists, period. I mean, I'm in DC. If you want a publicist, it's going to cost you $10,000 to get anybody decent, and you might not get anything. But learning how to do it yourself is tremendous. And I keep saying, once you learn it, you have those tools in place, you can do it forever.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I fell in love with PR. I never thought, you know, when I was going to school and studying business and marketing, I took a PR class, but I never, ever imagined myself doing PR. But then the more I did it, the more I realized how fun it is. Yeah. And sort of like once you like crack the code, so to speak, you know, it's just about relationships and being helpful to someone else.
And that's the key. What value can you add to someone else? And I always say that you don't necessarily pitch yourself first. Like I said with the CNBC person, I gave somebody that I know would be a great value to him. But, he already emailed back and let's get together when you're in New York. So I've got this warm lead that then if there is something that I can talk about, he's there.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So now your expertise, Andreea, is obviously products. We talked about that. I know you do everything, but that's kind of really your wheelhouse, your strength. So what do you recommend? What's your top 3 tips for a product-based entrepreneur to get publicity?
Yeah, that's such a great question. And it's funny because for my clients, I do product PR, but for myself, because I also want to get in the media, I'm sort of just pitching myself and my brand. So I'm kind of doing both here. But for anyone who has a product, the first thing I recommend is to look at editorial calendars and really know themes that a magazine is working on. And I know we just got through the summer and the whole holiday gift guide frenzy and everyone looking for holiday gift guides. And I think if you can even just download, if you Google Oprah Magazine Media Kit or Oprah Magazine Editorial Calendar or any magazine name and the words editorial calendar, you're going to have that information to access and to know what they're working on. And that really helps you to position your products in a way that is providing value to the magazine editor. So instead of just saying, hey, here, write about my products because they're so awesome, you can say, hey, I know you're working on the holiday gift guide and I know you're looking for eco-friendly products or products that give back. I have this great handbag. I think you would be a great fit because of XYZ reason. And would you like a sample? Thanks so much for considering us for the holiday gift guide. And I think if you approach it that way, as opposed to here's my press release and just leave it up to them to find a place for you in the magazine, I think you're kind of going to get lost in the shuffle. But if you're pitching for a specific story or for a specific section of the magazine, I know, for example, if you're pitching Oprah, they have a book section. So why not say, hey, I just wrote this book. I think it would be great for your book review section or whatever section you want to get on. You're going to have much more success that way. So I definitely recommend getting familiar with editorial calendars and knowing that first. And then obviously the next step would be to find the contact information. And there's plenty of ways to find someone's contact information. You can sign up for a media database. You can Google it. You can go to LinkedIn. You can sign up for Get Media Happy. So many different ways you can do it. You can even call the magazine and ask, and that's worked for me too. But once you have their contact information, it's time to send out that email. And I think for me, what I found the most helpful thing when I'm sending out the email is to definitely keep it short and not go on. Because if someone opens your email and they see like a whole page full of stuff, they're going to get overwhelmed and they're not going to read it. So you have to keep it short. Let them know exactly why you're reaching out. So say, hey, I know you're working on this kind of story. I would love to be considered for it, as opposed to, hey, here's my product. So being really specific, offering them information, so offering to send them samples. One thing that I've done that has worked really well is I've sort of created like a media page on my website where it had high resolution photos of me and my products. It had a couple of press releases. It had everything they could possibly want to download and use without having to reach out to me. So I would say, if you'd like high resolution photos or more information, check out this page and they can get everything they want from there. And it sort of reduces that email back and forth saying, hey, can you send me a lifestyle photo that's at least 1,000 DPI or whatever else they need to request. So make it easy for them to get the information that they need, I think is really, really critical. But one thing that I think is even more critical than anything else you do is to follow up with your email. So I know a lot of times when you're going to send that initial email, you're probably not going to hear back. And what I used to do, what I think a lot of people do, is that we just assume that the editor is not interested, because if they were interested, they would have written back to me right away. So you have to get rid of that mindset and know that no response is not a no. It's not a no until you actually get a no. So follow up on your email and say, hey, I'm following up from last week. Are you still looking for gifts that give back? If so, here's my handbag, and so on. So you really have to follow up. And I would say that's my third and most important tip when it comes to PR.
And I always say a no is probably a not yet.
Yes.
I have a story where I pitched my product a year ago, or this was a couple of years ago, and I never heard back. I did the follow-up, I did everything, and the following year, she said, you sent me this last year, it didn't fit in the magazine, it fits now, are you still in business, can you send images? So you just remember they're busy, so just if you get a no, it's not, or you don't get an answer. And then the other thing is, I tell people, I use a slide in my presentations that's old, dusty phones. It's like, pick up the phone and follow up. We've gotten in so many media outlets because of that. Just that they're like, oh, I saw that email, I forgot about it. They get busy and.
So true.
And I don't know where I heard this from, but I've heard this and I use it. I'm not taking credit for it though. The fortune is in the follow-up. That's where the money is. That's where your business is. That's where you're going to get, listen, we know it, right? How many times do you get an email from somebody and you may look at it and go, I really want to work with that person. But if it's really broad in general, it's just not, it's going to get on your to-do list at the bottom. But if they say something really specific, like, here's the copy, here's what you can do. I'd love it if you could do it next week. I'm in, I'm more likely in.
Yeah. So, and it's interesting too, because I get pitched now all the time too. So it's funny for me because I'm on both ends where I get pitched myself and I'm also pitching myself and clients. But I have at least 5 emails from people that have pitched me the last week who want to be on my podcast. And I've been in the middle of a launch. I haven't been able to get back to anyone, but I know I'm going to get back to those people later this week or next week. But the thing is, if someone was to follow up with me and say, hey, I sent you an email last week, guess who's going to get my first response? It's going to be the person. Eventually I'm going to follow up with everyone and I'm going to say yes or no. But the person that checks in again, they're going to be the first ones to get an answer and to get on my podcast and get scheduled. So there really is a lot to be said about following up.
Yeah.
And one important thing to note on the follow-up too, because people are so afraid of the media. I always try to shatter that image. And they're afraid to follow up and they're afraid to be, too pushy and but sending an email, sending a follow-up and a follow-up call, I think is fine. And then I've interviewed a lot of journalists and the one thing they say is though, don't keep shoving the same idea down my throat week after week. So, you can pitch that same journalist again, just do something different. Like you talked about, gifts giving back. Well, it didn't work for that, but maybe it'll work for the Mother's Day issue or something in the spring or the summer. So that's something to think about too. You don't have to be a one and done, but don't keep doing the same thing. If they weren't interested right now for that one, make sure you do something different.
Yeah, absolutely. And one other thing that I wanted to add to that, and I used to do this all the time, and people do it when they pitch me all the time. In their follow-up email, they'll say, hey, I'm just writing to follow up. And I feel like just using the word just, you're sort of being apologetic for following up. So instead of saying, hey, I'm just following up on my email, just say, I'm following up on my email and really own it. And you're not just following up, you're following up and there's no need to apologize for that. So.
You know what, that actually leads right to my next question. And I'm going to ask this of both of you. I love strategy, right? I can come up with strategy and I can say, we're going to follow up with this person and we're going to connect with this person and we're going to do all that. But I'm not very good at copy, right? I'm not very good at, I can write the emails and it's professional and it will look great. But to me, I'm more direct than I am So what would you tell somebody like me, and I would think that I'm not alone, right? In that I love the idea of PR, but I'm not very good at it. Even like you said, responding to hair requests. It's not like I go on too long. I just don't really know always what are the best ways to say things, So with their resources, what kind of advice could you give for that?
Yeah, I think that's such a great question. And I know I personally hate writing. It's one of my least favorite things to do, but I know I have to do it. But I would think about it instead of thinking about I have to write copy and I have to write a really great email. Think about what would you say in a conversation. So if you were talking to this person on the phone, what would you say? And that's oftentimes is so much easier to think about. So if you think about it as instead of saying it out loud like I was talking to them, just write it down and it's going to come out okay. And And I think if you can keep that conversational tone going, I think they're gonna be able to relate to that more than if you're trying to have this perfect email. Because I've gotten emails that are totally polished and really great copy, but there was no personality, there was no nothing personal in there. And I'd rather have a conversation than be pitched to. So I think if you can look at it as, let me just have a conversation with this person, and what would I say if they were right in front of me, and write that, and it doesn't have to be perfect. So I think that usually helps me, because believe me, I am not a huge fan of writing either. It's my least favorite thing to do.
Really? That's so funny. That's so funny.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I often tell people though, when you've written something, if you're not sure, because this is the tip I use, if you're not sure if it sounds like you, read it out loud. And if you can't read it out loud and feel like it's you, then you need to keep tweaking it until you can. And that's kind of the tip I give them with social media copy. So I guess that would work for pitching as well. I guess it's just, I don't know. It's one of those things that I wish I had, that talent. You know, that's the I wish I knew how to do this better.
Thing to do, and I coach people on this and train them is once you have that one really good email, save it in a boilerplate. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. I talk about this with Haro all the time. I have insane success with Haro, and I don't spend a lot of time on it because I have these little boilerplates that I can cut and paste quickly, personalize it to that person, that publication, and I don't have to constantly rethink of this whole email I'm going to write out. You know, it's just kind of the beginning and the end that I have to fix.
Exactly. Yep. And usually I totally agree. I have the same boilerplates too, and I'll just switch out my first sentence or my first two sentences and personalize it to that outlet. But everything after that is pretty much the same.
And that just saves all that angst and nervousness and it doesn't sound good, and just tweak it to that outlet, and you'll start. And once you start doing it, right, Andreea, I'm sure we both started out and we were nervous and writing long emails, and once you start doing it, you just get into a rhythm.
Yes, absolutely. And the more you do it, the easier it gets too.
Yeah.
So Karen, you need to do more.
I do need to do more. Oh my gosh. I suppose I can stop sleeping. I just want to call a shout out to, there's a guy on here, Chocolate Johnny. Isn't it the middle of the night for you? Aren't you in Australia? Like, he's in here chatting, and I'm just in her head thinking, isn't it like, 2 o'clock in the morning? Anyway, welcome. Nice to have you here. All of you. I mean, I have some of my favorite people are here today. I love this. I love this crowd.
I love the turnout. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, so that's really good advice. And you know what? I have to kind of get over it sometimes. Like Christina sent me something yesterday that she's already nagged me once that I haven't gotten back to her with. And I started it and I started writing it, and then I'm like, it's exactly what I use to distract myself. I'm like, oh wait, I gotta go do this, because I sit down and write this stuff, and it's just like, I suck at this. I actually just called a friend of mine today and said, like, I need a copy person. Like, where do I find a copy person? So anyway, I am really grateful for the advice, and I am going to just do it more. That's really what I need to do. We just had like 40 people.
I know, like a 40 people.
I'm not even sure how that happened, but I love it. It's 5:55, so it's a.m. Okay. Well, Johnny, I look, good for you. I was up at 5. I had to drive a friend to the airport at 4. So I've been up. Cool. So what else, you guys? What else do we need to know?
So product based. So, okay, let's talk about timing on this stuff, because that was my biggest thing. For those of you who don't know my product, I have fashion accessories for medical boots. And winter is a great time for it. I have these really cute fur cuffs that go on it. So when I first started doing my DIY PR, I was pitching November, right? That made sense for December, January. That's really logical. But go ahead, Andreea. How do magazines work?
Yep. So magazines, especially the national magazines, work about 3 to 6 months in advance. The local ones have a bit less lead time. So the local ones you can usually get like in October or November for a December issue, but early November, nothing really later than that. Although some of the local magazines have a 3-month, 4-month lead time as well. So you have to know ahead of time and plan accordingly. And, it's funny, I have this, I don't know if you've seen this. Have any of you seen this yet? Can you even see it?
No, I haven't.
So this is the pitch wheel. This is from my friend Amy at Recipe for Press. And she created this awesome thing where she gives you the month of the year, and then she tells you when national magazines and when regional magazines are looking for. Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
So it says here, we are in October right now. So national magazines are working on their March issue and regional magazines are working on their December issue. So and she's not paying me to pitch this or anything, but it really is one of my.
Where do we find that?
If you go to recipeforpress.com, and it's called a pitch wheel.
Pitch wheel.
Yep, and then on the back too, it tells you themes of what magazine editors are working on every month. So if you can kind of, like, once you do it once, you're obviously going to know that, okay, in October, they're working on March. In July, they're working on December. Then once you do it once, you're already going to know that information. But yeah, you have to plan ahead. And it's interesting because I launched a soap business about 1.5 years ago, and I specifically launched it in June because I knew that that's when magazines were going to be working on their holiday gift guide, and I launched the bank. All I did in June and July was pitch magazines for holiday gift guides. And if I hadn't launched, and it was kind of tough to launch at that time because I had so many things going on, but I learned that from my previous business that if you're not pitching on time, you sort of are going to miss the boat and you're going to have to wait another year to pitch for that particular topic. So you have to really plan ahead, and just keep in mind, national magazines 3 to 6 months in advance. I usually like to work about 5 months in advance to give myself time to follow up, and give about a week or two to follow up, and then maybe pitch a different idea. And regional magazines are about 2 to 3 months in advance, and local ones as well. So that's something to definitely keep in mind.
So let me ask you, ladies, what are you pitching now? Like what like if it's October, so what would you be pitching now? Are you pitching?
Well, Karen and I have a mutual client who has a product that if you have a damaged or you don't have a toenail, like, runners, women lose their toenails. So it's a patented product that goes on the toenail. So I'm now pitching, and I looked at the editorial calendars. I found a nail magazine that's doing a foot care edition. So of course I pitched specifically, like Andreea said. But yeah, now you're starting to gear up for spring products.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So anything like spring fashion or spring travel is a really big one for the national magazines. And then the regional ones some of them are still wrapping up their holiday gift guides, but then they're also working on their January issue, which oftentimes is all about New Year's resolutions and diets and fitness and losing weight and keeping healthy. So for those magazines, you probably want to be pitching that sort of thing around the New Year's resolution and health and fitness. But for the national magazines, it's all about spring products, spring fashion, spring travel, anything that has to do with spring.
Very cool.
Awesome. So we have a huge crowd here today, and I'm sure there are a lot of people who would like to take advantage of having you here and asking questions. So if anybody wants to come in, just click on the seat and we'll bring you in as we continue talking. And
let me unlock it. It's unlocked now. So if you want to jump in and talk about your PR, and you've got 2 rock star PR people here, so bring your ideas for pitches.
All right, I'm going to bring Layla on.
Okay.
Here she comes, we hope. Karen, you're my expert on this. Oh, there we go.
Hello. My name is
she's got a whole crowd.
I wanted to tell you we're learning about Blab today in my class, and we're listening to your podcast. Or sorry, your class.
Awesome. Guys, this is awesome.
Hi, guys.
Hello. So
where are you teaching from?
We're teaching from Aurora University, and this is a social media marketing class. We're outside of Chicago.
Awesome.
So we'll get off, but we just wanted to say hello to everybody.
Hi.
Awesome. Well, you guys subscribe to Christina, subscribe to me. We do this every week. We'd love to have you guys. And I love speaking to colleges, so that's awesome.
I know, it's awesome.
Well, maybe we can set up a time that we can all talk and do a Blab together.
Absolutely. Message me on Twitter or email me, whatever's easiest.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. We're enjoying
your fun, you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, that was fun.
It was fun. Yeah, I actually did I have a friend who was teaching a class in Spain yesterday, and I actually Skyped into her class yesterday and was helping them with LinkedIn. That was a lot of fun too.
But all these people listening, let me tell you, working with college students, if you want rock star help, like interns and things like that, I do a lot with the kids at Virginia Tech. They are so smart, they'll blow you away. So I'm excited that they're listening to our blab. And all right, anybody else want to come in?
Who wants to join us? Come on, there's a lot of you guys. Bryn, are you still here? Jump in. Johnny said he'll jump in a little bit. Bryn's here.
Oh, there's Bryn. Okay.
I know you're always good for jumping in, Bryn. If we can, where are you?
Can you hear me?
I know. Oh, here we go. So a slow connection. Hi, welcome.
Hi. I only have a few minutes because I have a call I have to get on. But this has been great. And, you know, I'm also social media like Karen. I'm primarily LinkedIn. And it is so different than PR. In the social media world, we are absolutely like we cannot pitch.
And not only that, we don't care what's happening in March. We need to worry about what's happening today.
Well, we're immediate gratification. And we really have a mindset of pitching is bad because you don't want to have like 20 tweets by my stuff. But PR is all pitch. So even though it may seem like they're so aligned and they do work great together, they are two completely different animals. And so it's so interesting to have you guys here. I really believe you really can't have one without the other. It's not complete. But as a LinkedIn trainer, the idea of PR is scary. Like the idea that I have to, it just is.
Yes. We can teach you how to connect with them on LinkedIn and how to find them in groups and how to make sure you have an authentic connection with whoever it is you want to pitch.
Calls,
but when it comes time to pitching them.
Yeah, and that's my whole purpose is to do the right activities, engage with the right people, and convert them to phone calls. Because what I do is social selling, right? So that's the whole concept. What you guys do is have to convince very large magazines and media to take on your stuff. And if you don't pitch, you'll never get anywhere. Like a little social media campaign's not going to do any good.
Yeah. Right. But see, Bryn, so I love that you, well, first of all, I always love when people agree with me, but I love that you, you said, it's very different because there's a lot of people out there that teach it together, and that's why Christina and I work together. And I recommend you guys, you, Bryn, and other social media people connect with people like Christina and Andreea, because it brings power to our social media campaigns when we bring in the PR piece. I don't want to do it. I'm not a PR expert. I'm a social media expert. But when I bring the PR people in, then my campaigns are better than anybody else's. So
makes a lot of sense.
I love that you said that because it's
and true. Can I add something to that too? Because I think what you said, Bryn, is so true. And I feel like so many people feel like they're pitching. And it's interesting because back when I had my t-shirt business, I worked with a sales coach, and she told me, because I felt the same way, and I thought, well, I'm just asking people to buy my t-shirts, right? That's what I'm doing. And it kind of doesn't feel good when you're doing that. And she said, okay, I know that's what you're doing and that's what you want the end result to be. But what if you think about it the other way and switch your mindset up a little bit? And instead of thinking I'm just selling a t-shirt or I'm pushing my product on people, think about it as I have an amazing product that can enhance someone's life, right? So a t-shirt, when you wear, and it goes for jewelry or food or any other product out there, you're making someone feel good, you're making them look good, you're helping them express who they are.
I totally agree. I totally agree. I mean, I've been in sales my whole entire career, and I sell that way. But social media is different. You do not engage with the right decision makers by tweeting out pitches and sharing pitching on Facebook and LinkedIn. And so social media is about getting the engagement, and then I take it offline. And I'm great, and I agree with you 100%, Andreea, 100%, that you're providing a service. So I totally get that. But if you try take what you do in PR and say, like, who wants to pick up the story, or this is a great story for you to pick up, you'll get blacklisted on social.
But Bryn, what I recommend when I coach people, what you're doing is you find those journalists that are good for your industry, and you're not pitching them, you're sharing their work on social media. You're saying how great you think it is. Yep. You might refer other people to them. I read this article, do you know Andreea Ayers? She is so good at X, Y, and Z, and you build that relationship, so then when you do pitch, you've got a warm foot in the door.
100% agree. 100% agree. You just have to find that balance.
Yep. Right.
Yeah. And it's just a totally different animal, but they do work really well together. So I thank you for letting me jump in. I do have to make a call. It was really nice to meet both of you, and I am interested a little bit of the DIY PR. So if you guys want to send me something, that would be awesome, or connect with me or set up a call. I like phone calls.
Yes, you guys should definitely connect. You would like each other.
And actually, like, if you schedule a call with Bryn.com, you can get right on my calendar.
I love it.
Guys, it was a pleasure. Thank you, Karen, for having me jump in.
Take care, Bryn. Good to see you.
Bye.
Thanks, Bryn.
All right.
I think people are so afraid of this and worried about pitching, and Andreea, you do the same thing I do. It's all about building relationships. That's why your Get Media Happy is so good, and I just love watching it grow and grow and grow. Because then I know you're building these amazing relationships with people. You're providing them value. You're giving them, and tell them what you did. I thought this was so cool for O Magazine for the holiday gift guide. This was awesome.
Oh, so what I did, so it's interesting because I reached out to the editor at Oprah Magazine, and I told him about all of the cool products that are part of Get Media Happy. And he said, yes, I would love to know more, but can you actually curate or can you send me a list and get all of them? So I put together a list of all of the clients or Get Media Happy members who are interested in being in Oprah Magazine, and I created a really nice directory for him, made his job easier, and sent him that list. But it's interesting because I also had clients who connected with him on social media, and he tweeted some of my clients on social media and was opening up packages and sharing photos on social media. And some of them didn't make it in Oprah Magazine. We're still waiting to see which ones actually made it. But and it's funny because his request, and I've gotten those requests quite a few times from journalists, inspired me to create a directory of all of our members so I can reach out to editors and say, here's our members, just click on the samples you would like to request rather than having our members pitch. So he definitely inspired that.
Cool. I like that.
All right, welcome, Michael.
How you doing, ladies?
We're good.
How are you?
I'm incredible. How can I be anything but when talking to three beautiful women?
Oh.
Can't argue with that.
Well, we're glad we can help.
My name is Michael D. Haynes. I am a professional speaker. How would I approach the media? I think I have a human interest story. What I do is I go into a pub or a corporation, and then speak to the staff about how to approach people like me.
Okay.
And how to deal with people like me.
So you're asking how would you pitch your human interest story? Like, what's the best way for you to pitch that human interest story? Christina? Andreea? What do you think?
To the media.
To the media.
Yeah. Like,
what do you guys think?
I really would like some national coverage. Not only in Canada, but in the U.S.
Andrea, you want to jump in? I can jump in.
Yeah, I was going to let you take that one since you deal more with non-product stuff. But my initial advice would be to figure out a part of your story that would relate to a specific magazine and pitch that part to the magazine. So whether it's you as an entrepreneur or you as, if you're a parent or whatever side of you want to pitch, focus on that one side and pitch that specifically. But I don't know if you have any other advice, Christina.
No, that's exactly it. Seeing, which magazines you want to be in. We talked about editorial calendars. See if there's anything where you see a fit. Same thing with television, getting on something like that. Where are you trying to go? What do they cover? Who covers it? And what makes your story interesting for that audience?
Okay.
Interesting. I like those. Those sound like great ideas.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to be seen by people like Oprah.
Yes, people like Oprah would definitely. They love human interest stories, right? So, I'm not going to jump in because I don't know what they're talking about. I'm going to say, what's the angle? What's
you
the
can
story?
You can Google her network, see what programs she has on there, and you can. Andrea said too, you can go Google, LinkedIn, Twitter, and just write that show and produce her. And a name, 9 times out of 10, right, Andrea? I mean, the name comes up. I always say I have this top secret tool. It's called Google. It really works.
Right.
I've heard of Google.
Yeah, it's really good, and it's free.
Yeah, I like free. I really like free.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, and somebody just suggested, and I'll tell you this real quick, and we'll let someone else come in. But make a video for them to see you.
I love that idea.
Okay, I will.
All right. Thanks, Michael.
Thank
Good luck
you.
with that.
Bye.
You ladies are incredible.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful day.
You
Thank
too.
you too.
Bye.
Yeah, I speaker reel. I'm still working on mine, so I think we all need that video. If we want to get speaker gigs, we've got to show people what we look like when we're speaking, right? I actually just sent a big Dropbox folder full of video to somebody today and said, what can you do with this?
Well, and Andrea, let me ask you that, the video component of it. How important is it to get a video of your products on YouTube, social media? I mean, I always say how vital video is right now, but showing how it works and...
Yeah, I think it's so important. And I know so many people are afraid of video. And I was afraid of video once too. But once you start doing it, you get used to it. And just like the writing, it gets easier. But it's interesting because I reached out a few months ago. I was teaching at Creative Live and I was teaching about how to get PR. And I wanted to reach out to magazine editors and hear directly from them about what they hate or what they love or what advice they have when it comes to pitching. So as I was preparing for my class on Creative Live, I reached out to a few hundred magazine editors and I asked them what would make them what would make a pitch stand out. And so many of them said video. It's amazing. So many of them said, we get pictures, we get text, but I've never gotten a video and I would love to get pitched by video. That would totally get my attention. So I think it's something that is so powerful, especially if you could maybe not only do a video of your product, but actually pitch on video. So imagine if you, let's say, wanted to be in Oprah magazine and you have, if you have a fashion accessory and you said, reached out to the fashion accessories editor and say, hey, I'd love to be considered for this particular section. I made a quick video for you to show you what I'm about or what my company's about.
Love that.
Like that would totally stand out. And even if they say no, let's say even if it's not a good fit, at least you got their attention and you're going to stand out. And I think nowadays it's so important to stand out. But I was just amazed at how many editors brought up video. So
it's funny that you say that. I was on Fox and she said that to me. She said, I love that you sent me a video and I felt like I got to know you in that video. So then they're more comfortable with you and your personality as well. Like, oh, I can have her on. I think I like her.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, welcome, Sandra.
Hi, how are you, ladies? I'm really excited about this. I'm supposed to be getting work done, but of course I get sidetracked every day with Blab. And
I know,
Andreea,
right?
I've been following Andreea for a long time, and I just ordered the pitch wheel. I thought that was brilliant.
Oh,
so
awesome.
I think that's going to be, talk about an impulse buy, right? I'm like watching you guys and clicking PayPal at the same time, but I think that's going to be a great tool. So, so do you want to hear a little pitch?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. So my name is Sandra Centorino. I'm from Cheshire, Connecticut. I'm the inspirational expert and co-founder of a company called Say It International. We specialize in bringing people's words to life. We do that through our inspirational products and our services, courses online, helping people bring their words to life, and also speaking engagement, going into companies, helping them spread positivity and be positive in the workplace. So what I'm going to pitch you today, ladies, is a great product that we have been developing for the past couple of years. And we just recently launched it on Blab, so kind of through video, right, Andreea? And my daughters and I started, we were disturbed by negative noise in society in general. So what did we do? We decided to show up at our local coffee shop and handwrite positive messages on the back of cards and hand them out to people at random, strangers, kind of like pay it forward with words. So it was this one person that looked in my eyes, this one woman that looked in my face and said, this message changed my life. I'm on my way to the hospital visiting my sister with cancer, and I can't tell you what these words mean to me. And so my daughters and I were inspired by this. We knew we were onto something. So we started a movement called Say It Forward. It's like pay it forward, but say it forward. So what happens next? People start telling people and they're inspired. And we decided we want to do something different. We don't want to be like Hallmark with these generic sayings. So we decided we were going to crowdsource sayings from people that we meet in nursing homes, in schools, in civic groups, and online through Twitter, through our website. And so we collect all these messages and we bring people's words to life in a product called Say It Forward cards. And this is what they look like. So we just launched this last week and we sold out in about 3 days.
Oh my gosh.
All messages with positive sayings on them. And all these sayings were crowdsourced from people. So they're even more meaningful knowing that Andreea could give me her favorite quote and it could be handed to someone in another state, in another country. We've gone international. In 3 years, we've practiced by, in a beta test, handing out over 30,000 cards for free out of my own money, just to see what would happen. And we caused smiles. I handed some out at the train station in New Haven when we had a little pop-up shop set up 2 summers ago. And I handed 200 cards out to strangers that were looking down at their books and had music in. And they looked into my eyes. They took this card. So someone last week, I'm almost done. I know this pitch is too long. So someone last week dared me. They said, you did this in New Haven train station, and I love that coffee shop story. I dare you to go to Grand Central. And I said, don't you dare me. You know me. So I took the dare. I took on the dare. And I think I have a tentative date for December 3rd. And my props are upstairs in my office. But I have a jug this big with 2,500 cards. And I'm going to hand them out with a group of people that I gather on Blab. And we are going to cause positive disruptions, damn it. So we're going to tune out all the negative noise.
I want to come. I'm in Jersey. Email me.
Good.
So that's it.
That was way long.
I know
That was a long elevator ride, so I apologize. But I'm full of energy.
I want to come. So,
good, awesome.
It works.
So,
yeah, no, I want to come. It sounds
good, awesome.
It sounds fabulous.
Awesome. So now I connected to a man from the Today Show. It wasn't really a pitch, but it was just a relationship. He's going to be on my show. I do a show on Blab called Blab Rehab, and it's about positivity, coming in and leaving in a positive state. People think it's about blabbing too much, although I have that problem, but it's not. So this man is going to connect. He's going to be on my Blab show. His name's Mario Armstrong. If you don't know him, he's the tech positivity guy. So he's going to come on. I met him at a Periscope Summit this past summer, and he's all about positivity. So I can't wait to tell him about this. Maybe he'll join me. Maybe he can recruit a troupe of people. And you know what? We're going to make a difference. It's like a positivity mob. I don't know. We'll have to come up with some name. But
let me ask you something. Do you know Susie Morto?
No, I do not.
You have to check her out. Susie just came out with a new deck of cards, and I feel like if I closed my eyes and changed your voice, it would be like Susie talking. And she
really?
Too. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, she's shy and kind of quiet too, like me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know those New Yorkers. We're so shy and quiet.
Yeah.
Make sure to get a video of it too when you're in Grand Central.
Definitely. And you know what? I have a video.
I guess on your show.
Yeah, Andreea, I also have a video of, it's funny, when I did this thing in New Haven train station, it was 2 summers ago. My daughter Allie was with me. She's 21. I embarrass my kids all the time, but they get into it. Now they're like, Mom, you know what? You're making a difference. We don't really care what you do. So Allie took a 15-second video of me handing them out in the train station. And you could see a man like looking down and looking up. And it's from far away. But I watch it all the time and I get the chills because I cannot tell you, hands down, I'm 53 and I've done some pretty cool things in my life, but that hands down, like I seriously felt like I had wings and I was flying around the station. I can't even explain the faces and the feeling I got in my heart, knowing that like this little card could have just changed someone's life that, had no family, had no one to talk to. And it was just very cool. So I just have to keep opening my damn big mouth. Now I have this wheel that I just got, so I have to start pitching and getting it out. Positivity is good year round, so I'm not too worried about what month to pitch because positivity is good every month of the calendar, right?
Absolutely. Make sure that everybody in New York, all those television stations know that you're going that day and send them that clip of what you did and tell them how powerful it was there. So you're going to change the world at Grand Central.
Yeah, and I definitely need people like you guys who are smarter than me with PR and connections because I'm the energy and the force, but I need to connect to people that can jump on the bandwagon and be part of it that know more than me. And you guys are so talented, and I'm so humble and excited to be here with you guys today. So.
Andreea, we need to introduce her to Chris Wittenberg. Do you know Be Good to People?
Oh, yeah.
No,
I was just thinking about that.
Yeah, I was going to say, if there's a way, if you guys can either email me or you can, I followed all of you on Twitter. You can DM me at Sandra Santorino. I'd love to get any connection you have. I promise I will follow it through with a video. I love video, as you can tell. I have no problem talking on camera. But I'll send them a 15-second video, a 30-second video, a 2-hour video. I don't know, a movie. So whatever it takes, right? I would love, does Oprah still do my favorite things? Because damn it, wouldn't that be a good favorite thing? I think I might have missed did I miss the Christmas? Did I miss the Christmas, Andreea?
Yeah, that was in early August. It ended for Oprah.
Okay, yeah. My goal, though, I'd love to connect to Oprah. My goal is to get these in the hands of Ellen DeGeneres. She's my destination. In 2016, I keep saying, Ellen, I'm coming after you, and you're going to see me in 2016. So she's all about kindness, and I think this would be right up her alley as far as spreading kindness. So, but
when you do those videos, Sandra, tag her.
Yeah,
make sure every tag, because there are people monitoring her social media. I don't know, she's not reading the million tweets she's tagged in, but her people are. And you just never know.
Yeah, definitely. My favorite quote is, and I've been saying this for 20 years, you never know how or when you might touch another life. And I've been saying it for so many years. I ran a nonprofit charity with my daughters and did so many different things in my past. But the quote is really kind of coming to life now when I see the faces of these people that were putting the cards. And it's such a simple thing. It's just taking someone's words and putting it on the back of the card. And we started, the first collection is called Gratitude and Moments That Matter. But it really could be never ending. Like people were saying, do you have one for cancer survivors and caregivers and people with Alzheimer's or people that are new mothers or people that are going through mental illness? Like it's never ending. I think for January, I'm going to work on be healthy, be well, because I know in January, everyone's like, I'm going to be healthy. I'm going to be fit. And then we're working, I think, on some like beauty, be beautiful, be happy or something like that. So we have a couple of other things coming up. So.
Think about what Andreea said too, though, for that health and beauty in January. If you're coming out with it in January, you're not going to pitch it until 2017, the end of the year 2016 for 2017.
Exactly. So, yeah, exactly. So, yeah, so that's my story. And I'm really excited to be in here. And again, I was supposed to be doing work, but I overheard and I'm like, oh, God, should I just go in? Yeah. You got to put yourself. You got to put yourself out there and just keep telling your stories, because the stories really are what keeps me going. And when I keep hearing things back from people that bought the cards and they're passing them forward and those stories, it's just like, it seriously is just this big world and it's going around. And, you know, they're in, I connected to a lady on Facebook that I met, and she's actually bringing them into her classroom in Buenos Aires and teaching her kids about positivity. So she reached out to me and told me that she had been seeing like all my positive posts on my Facebook. And after like a whole year of following me, you know, said, I've been teaching what you teach on your Facebook about positivity to my kids, and it's really making a difference. And I was just so touched. I had like a Google Hangout with her and we met, and it was really cool. So as you can tell, I'm a storyteller, but I need to get out so someone else can hop in.
I love it. I love it. Well, it was really nice to get to talk to you.
So you, thank you guys so much. Definitely, Karen, I'm taking you up on it. Yeah, it's going to be in New York.
I'm going to recruit Cynthia. She's free. She's going to be a huge asset to you.
Awesome. And then you'll DM me on Twitter and just let me know whoever it is that I should check out and connect with.
Hopefully I will remember to do that. If I don't, DM me.
Okay, I'll find you. I'm coming after you too. And nice to meet you, Andreea. I love everything that you do, and you're very inspiring. And I watched a lot of your videos over the past year.
Nice to meet you too. Thank you.
Nice to meet you, Christina. See you.
Bye. Bye.
Bye, Sandra. And you know, Sandra, there's people here saying, good job listening to your gut. I agree. She just went with what she was passionate about, and her passion was exploding all over the video here, right?
Yep. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that would come across on television. When somebody, you know, when a producer sees that, they're like, that makes great TV. She's so passionate about what she does. And I've had so much success getting publicity when I should never have gotten it, and people told me that. Mm-hmm. They said, oh my God, you're so passionate. You know, we'd love to have that.
Yes, yes. Well, we've got about 5 minutes here. And before I don't know if we have time for another person. Before we jump into that, I am going to do a little pitch here. It's our show, right? So we can do this. Christina and I decided that we're going to take some of the techniques that we teach here in the Get Seen, Be Heard podcast and put it into a webinar series. And it's a very low cost webinar series. Each webinar is $50, not even, like $48. And we're doing our first one. I should just type it in here. Why am I holding up a card? This isn't Periscope. We're doing our first one I don't even know the date. It's November 9th. Is that it?
Oh, I think it's November 9th.
I'm going to put this in here. It's going to be on Twitter. Whoops, that's actually not the right bit.ly. It should be 15, not 14 at the end. But I wanted to tell you guys about this because all of the things we teach here today, I'm going to be leading this workshop. Christina, can you retype that over and just put a 5 at the end?
Yeah.
Instead of the 4. Yeah. But basically, I'm going to be teaching, like, as if I was taking on a new client, right? I have social media clients that pay my company to run their social media. So if you have a new product, you might hire me for 6 months to just blitz it out on social media, right? So I'm going to take you through my process, what I would do if I took on a new client, step by step, what I would do for them on Twitter. And I'm telling you, this is the workshop you want to come to. I mean, I think we're going to think they're all like that. But I've never done a workshop on Twitter before. I've had a ton of people ask me for it. So this, get into this. It's like we only have like 200 seats, I think. So we're going to lock it down. Like we're not opening this up to everyone. So we want you guys, our listeners here, to be the people that join us. It is bit.ly/GSBH, Get Seen, Be Heard, NOV15, and that's all caps. And we would love to have you guys there because that's where you're going to learn. Like I see people all the time that turn on Twitter and go, what am I going to tweet today? You are never going to do that again if you take this workshop. I'm going to teach you exactly what to do, how to do it, and how to set it up so that you're positioned as an expert. So when you do these pitches, right, that you're learning here how to do today, when people check you out, and they will check you out before they accept you for that pitch, you're gonna show up in a big way on Twitter. So our inaugural workshop is in November. So come join us.
And I will say I am one of Karen's students, and it works.
And you know what, Christina? I was actually thinking there's a lot that you still haven't even taught you. So
I know, and I can't
learn a lot on this. Yeah, you're gonna learn a lot on this too. I am literally gonna. I have never done this before because I'm like, why would people need to hire me then if they do this? I don't, like we talked about earlier, I don't need that many more clients. So I want you all to know how to do this, to know how to do it for yourself. And, you know, if you don't want to do it, then you can still call me and we'll do it for you. But it's not secret. It's just, here's my behind the scenes, what I do, how I grew my Twitter following to over 60,000 followers. And let me tell you something, if I'm pitching to speak somewhere, that's a big asset, right? People want to hire me to speak because they know I'm, you know, sharing it out to 60,000 people just on Twitter. So yeah. I would love to have you guys there. Johnny, yay, I'm happy you'll be there. We've already had a bunch of signups. We aren't delivering it yet. I haven't even talked to Christina about it yet. We don't actually know how we're delivering it yet. That's why you'll get an email saying you're in, and then maybe in a few more days you'll get something that says click here to log in.
There you go.
But it'll be great. It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be awesome.
So one on Harrow in December. So that's another thing.
Harrow, how I've had so much success with it. And I will show you exactly how to do what I do, and we're gonna set up, we talked about boilerplates, we're gonna set it up for you guys. So when you leave there, you are ready to go. But so our blabs, everyone knows we really keep it like a podcast, a hard hour. So Andreea, how can people find you, learn more about you? Give us all your information. We'll type it in the box too.
Yep, so everyone can find me at launchgrowjoy.com and then also at getmediahappy.com. And thanks so much for having me on. This was so fun. I think I'm hooked onto Blab now. So thank you for.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Yeah, thank you for having me on.
You were so awesome, and thank you for coming. You just have such a wealth of knowledge to share, and I love being able to collaborate with you on things. And yeah, definitely that Get Media Happy. I told you when you first launched it, I was like, this is brilliant, and it is really good. So I definitely recommend it.
Thank you so much.
All the things you talked about, Andreea, I wrote that down, Get Media Happy. I didn't even know it was your product when I wrote it down. So
oh, wow, yeah.
I did passionately enough that it intrigued me because I'm going to check it out.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, very cool, very cool. And it was so good to get to know you. I've seen your name around in your product, and I don't think we've ever talked before, so this was great.
Likewise, I've seen your name everywhere too, so it's fun to actually see you in person.
Yes.
So Karen, tell real quick who next, we're here every Thursday, 2:30 to 3:30 Eastern time. It's the reality Vinny.
Oh my gosh.
It's so fun.
You guys. So talk about Twitter, right? Talk about Twitter. Okay, we're going to go a minute over, Christina, because I'm going to tell them a little bit about the story. But, I'm on Twitter a lot. I'm tweeting with people, and I connected with somebody, and I connect with people regularly that I think are going to, be helpful to us in our, me and my business and my clients, whatever. And I connected with this guy, and I didn't really even know who he was really when I connected with him. But he connected back and said, "Thank you for connecting with me." And he, and I checked, for some reason, he sent me a DM that stood out. He used my name. He said, he used things that made me know it wasn't an auto DM. It wasn't even a picture. It was a really nice note. And I was like, wow, that's really cool. I checked him out. I'm like, wow, this guy seems really cool. So I literally went in, checked out some of his periscopes, because he does a lot of periscoping. And I found out that he's a casting director for like a ton of reality shows and TV shows in the New York City area. His name is Vinny Postativo. And he is known as, let me just see here, it is, of course it's not going to be here now, but I don't even know his handle, but you can check on I've actually got it registered. Christina, maybe you can throw the link in. It should be on my, I registered the Blab, but I'm really excited because we're going to find out from him what he looks for when people pitch him, right? So he's currently casting for let me see if I'm going to click the button right here to see what he's currently casting for. He's currently casting for big name, the Parenthood product, reality casting for contractors, a couple of like big name shows, and he's casted for TV shows, some of the Real Housewives of New Jersey, things like that. So we're really excited to have him. So I jumped ahead on the story. I emailed him and said, good to really get to know you. I'm in New York too. So we chatted a little bit, and I said, I know it's like really early in this relationship, but you seem like the perfect kind of guest for people we're looking for on this podcast. And he's like, I would love to. So we're actually going to try and connect before next week. So I at least get to know him a little bit before we interview him. I'm hoping to talk to him this week, hopefully in the next few days. But we're really, so that's like, again, ways that you can just leverage these platforms to meet people authentically, right? I don't know 60,000 people from Twitter, but I get to connect with people like Vinny that we're excited to have next week by just looking to actually have conversations with people. Yes, yo, it's Vinny. That's it. Yes, that's him. I knew he had a handle, but I didn't know the man existed 2 weeks ago. So I'm really excited.
It's gonna be really fun. Like everyone, that's reality TV. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, so we're really looking forward to it. What does he look for? What kinds of things, does he look for when he casts? And that will help all of us, not that we're necessarily looking to be on reality TV, but in all of our kind of pitching endeavors, right?
So, all right. So we will see you guys next week. Again, Andreea, thank you so much for joining us. It was just an awesome show, and we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, and sign up, the link on the side. Sign up for next week's.